Welcome to All About the AI Mindset, where we explore the intersection of cutting edge technology and one of the oldest and most important human endeavors, learning. AI has already transformed many areas of our lives, from personalized recommendation in our favorite streaming services to self-driving cars on our roads. And now, it is poised to revolutionize education as well. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with Dr. Chona Camille Vinscruz Abeledo, a distinguished faculty member of the Department of Biology at De La Salle University. She is a respected thought leader in the scientific community with a diverse background in research spanning from molecular biology to natural resource management. In addition, Doc Chona is the creator of the science blog She Yensha, where she advocates for improved communication between scientific community and the society. In the same YouTube channel, she talked about the use of artificial intelligence, specifically ChatGPT, and its effects on education. She also shared her experiences and her perspective in the field of biology and education to answer these questions. Without further ado, let me introduce to you our esteemed guest, Dr. Chona Camille Vinscruz Abeledo. Good afternoon po, Doc Chona. Thank you for accepting my invitation for this podcast interview entitled All About the AI Mindset po. So in this podcast po, we'll be diving deep into ways AI is being used in classrooms, schools, and educational institutions po around the world, especially in DLSU po. And I don't want to take much of your time po, so let's start with the interview po. So for my first question po, how can artificial intelligence be used to enhance learning experience in the classroom and online learning environments po?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question, especially when a lot of educators right now look at artificial intelligence as something that's threatening the classroom. But I think that AI has the potential to significantly enhance or make better our learning experience in both classroom and even in online environments. So what I find interesting about AI, which goes beyond ChatGPT and some of the more popular AIs, is that AI can help with personalized learning. So we can use artificial intelligence to analyze the different learning patterns of our students. We can use it to look at their different preferences, their strengths, so that we can create a more customized learning experience, which is very, very difficult to do if you're just one teacher in a classroom of 40 students. So AI can be used to change the pace of instruction, identify knowledge gaps that students need more sessions on, and even provide targeted feedback. And then since we're talking about knowledge gaps, AI can also be used as a tutoring system. So they can be used to provide individualized assistance to students in real time so that they can practice their learning at their own pace and then just hop back into the classroom when they're able to catch up. Now, as a teacher, one of the things that's very stressful for us is grading students' quizzes, homeworks, and so on. But what I love about Animospace, about Canvas, is that it already has AI that we can use to automatically grade objective assignments and tests. It makes our work so efficient because the moment our students submit the quiz, as long as everything is objective, it's automatically graded. But more advanced AI can actually be used to even grade essays quickly because we can already put in the context, thoughts that we want to see in the essay, and the AI can look for these things. Apart from that, I think AI can also help us make learning more exciting through gamification. So this is a learning theory where if students feel like they're being engaged in a game, it makes it more interactive, and so it makes it more exciting rather than boring to be in a classroom. So I believe those are just some of the things that AI can help with our learning experiences in the classroom in a positive way.
Okay po. So for my follow-up question po about that, how can educators ensure that the AI technology is used in a way that it enhances rather than replaces human teaching and learning po?
I think it's all really on the level of dependence that we have on artificial intelligence. Ideally, artificial intelligence should be there to supplement learning. So supplement the grading process, supplement the learning process. But if we rely solely on AI to do the grading, to design the curriculum, to create the lessons, then we also fail to put in that human touch in the lessons that we teach. And of course, the same thing is true for students, because at the end of it, with how powerful AI is now, you can use AI to just do all of your graded requirements, but this would not lead to the student learning the essential aspects of each of the subject that they're taking in. And of course, we have to trust the fact that those subjects were placed there for a reason, and you really do have to learn certain aspects of that subject in order for you to perform well in your chosen profession in the future. So if we become too independent on artificial intelligence, I think that's when we start to lose the critical essence of what it is to be an educator and to be a student.
Also po, napansin ko rin po na not everything po is true. So, dapat pa rin po talaga hindi tayo maging dependent sa kung ano lang po yung binibigay sa atin ng AI. And dapat andun pa rin po yung knowledge natin na mag-research on our own. And feel ko po yung AI, feel ko yung ChatGPT specifically, it's useful lang po sa pag-structure ng paano kayo magsusulat. At the end of the paper po, dapat meron pa rin po tayong sariling input na ilalagay dun sa requirement natin. So, for my next question po, since this podcast po is for our ethics po na subject, I would like to ask a question po about ethical naman po ng artificial intelligence. So, what are the ethical concerns around using artificial intelligence for the surveillance and monitoring of students po and their progress?
Okay. I think when it comes to the ethical issues with AI, specifically when it's about surveillance and monitoring, the first issue that comes to mind is privacy. So when it comes to artificial intelligence, especially if we did not create the AI in the first place, we're not exactly sure what's happening in the background. So AI-powered surveillance and monitoring systems may actually be collecting more than what we think it is. So it could be collecting and storing sensitive information about our students, which could include personal information, biometric data, banking data if the AI is on, even when our students are using online banking. It could look at internet activity. And all of this information can easily be sold to different companies. This has a lot of issues about data privacy and the potential misuse or even abuse of our personal information. And then, since the AI is already collecting a lot of information, and most of the times it's not just enough that we collect information. Sometimes we also use the information to filter or even assign our students to different sections, different courses, and so on. AI systems will not always be unbiased. They can end up doing some form of discrimination based on the data that they are trained on. And with AI, since it's automatic, it's almost always there, we may not necessarily be given the opportunity to give our consent to being monitored. That's a major issue when it comes to privacy, because without you giving your consent to be monitored, this violates your autonomy and also violates the ethics of collecting data. No, kasi as much as possible, whenever we collect data, it is always with the knowledge of the participants and also with their consent. So I think those are some of the major ethical problems that I can see with surveillance and monitoring of students using artificial intelligence.
Another question naman po is, what steps can be taken to ensure that AI is used responsibly and ethically in the education system?
That's a huge challenge, especially since we should have been asking that before AI was actually released to the public. But I believe right now, different schools and educational institutions, which should definitely start with the Department of Education, they should develop clear ethical guidelines that address our limits when it comes to the responsible use of artificial intelligence in education. Now, these guidelines, of course, must follow the principles of transparency, accountability, and respect for human rights. But at the end of it, guidelines are just that. They guide us, but they're not necessarily laws. They don't necessarily impose limits to what websites our students can or cannot use. So it wouldn't be enough for us to guarantee that there will be always ethical use of AI. I guess a more long-term potential solution is to foster continuous discussion about it, to make sure that our students and our faculty know the importance of what we're doing in the field of education, so that we can talk about how we can use AI in a fruitful manner. Because at the end of it, discriminating against AI works both ways. It can protect our students, it can protect our faculty, but it can also prevent us from using a very powerful technology to help improve our experience in education. We have to make sure that we're all seeing eye to eye before we start developing our rules, before we start developing our ethical guidelines. But I think my hard limit is really about data privacy. As much as possible, we should have personnel in our educational institutions who are capable of rechecking artificial intelligence codes, so that we're sure that when AI systems collect and store and use information from our faculty and our students, it's in a way that respects all of our privacy and data protection rights. So this may involve investing on privacy-enhancing technologies. We could use encryption, secure data storage, but at the end of it, we need to have those clear guidelines. And then, of course, before we start latching onto it, we have to make sure everybody's trained to use the AI, to understand the AI, and to see how it can be used properly in the different disciplines that we have at school, while also emphasizing the importance of human connection. I think a lot of us have forgotten that throughout the pandemic. I think we have to continue cultivating that tradition of forming human connections within the bounds of the university.
Okay, so I guess that's all of my questions po for you. Thank you so much po for taking time to be my guest for our podcast. Your insights and expertise po on the use of artificial intelligence in education were truly educating po and enlightening, especially for me po. And I am beyond grateful for the opportunity to have you in this conversation po. Again, thank you po, Doc.
Okay, you're very much welcome. Thank you for having me.
A pleasant day to you. This is Inigo Corpus, and I am accompanied by my groupmates, Agatha Balse, Francis De Leon, Ira May Galapon, Ariana Ortilian, and Edison Kilao on discussing about artificial intelligence. But more than just discussing AI itself, we will be delving into the ethical aspect as well. So, without much ado, let us begin this session. But before we delve into the finer details of artificial intelligence, I will be presenting its overview. This is to help set the tone for you viewers to define the focus of this ethical issue. Okay, so what is artificial intelligence in the first place, no? So artificial intelligence, abbreviated as AI, intends to replace human beings with certain electronic devices in terms of performing logic-linked activities. Moreover, it is also existent to reduce cognitive activities for its customers, making life easier for them. But AI cannot become prominent in our daily lives if it does not resemble human intelligence in the first place. Why did it become AI if it can't demonstrate human centered capabilities, right? Such as problem solving. What are these capacities am I talking about? Let's find out in the next slides. First is language. As the name suggests, language paves a bridge between individuals and ideas, whether they may be in words, photos, illustrations, or signages, in pursuit of deriving a sense of understanding or comprehension for the former, which would be individuals. So for program-based intelligence, it involves applying or employing complex commands that can be found on Visual Basic, JavaScript, and other related programming languages so that they could produce desired outputs and statements. Doing so really requires an acceptable proficiency level on these programs since these commands may be challenging to understand for a beginner. These programming languages should be able to convert themselves into human language so that they can be understood by lay individuals. Another notable AI characteristic would be problem solving. From the term itself, it involves performing related actions that intend to solve a myriad of problems. For instance, machines maximize the use of commands such as move forward and move back, as you can see in your screen, so that a robot or a toy car can accelerate and reverse respectively. Okay. Notably, chatbots like the ubiquitous but disputed ChatGPT employ problem-solving algorithms to address queries, especially those concerning mathematics. This will be discussed as we navigate this discussion. Okay, third is reasoning. Employing rationality is the third notable AI characteristic. In a technical sense, reasoning can be divided into two components, inductive and deductive. This is notably applicable to the logical domain, where reasoning is regarded as its heart and soul. Okay, first is inductive. Inductive reasoning involves mentioning an instance, then linking it to a coherent premise. For example, just like the recent events that happened in our country. Most of the 30 most 2022 bar exam takers hail from the University of the Philippines. So therefore, it is apparent that UP will dominate the top 30 rosters for the subsequent bar exams. Okay, but what is deductive reasoning? No, so deductive reasoning is about introducing a premise first prior to its instances. For example, this is very common, no, in the Philippines. We always encounter VIOS units that are used as taxis, no. So okay, the first statement, it says there are many Asian cars that are used as Philippine taxis. B. Toyota Vios is an Asian vehicle and is produced by a Japanese company, obviously Toyota. And so therefore, Toyota Vios is eligible to become a Philippine taxi. Okay? Okay. So, since the first time search engines and virtual assistants came into our palette or in our world, basically, information technology has been ingrained in ourselves. in our daily lives, no? So, since the height of World War II, computers have been calibrated to undertake intricate activities, just like solving math problems with much ease and playing chess. At this time, there were no advanced software applications that could handle human based flexibility. But as time progresses, there are those who can handle activities that humans can perform. Okay? An example would be providing a plethora of information in the cyberspace, no, with the help of our dearest search engines. So, in the late 1990s, specifically 2 years before the dawn of the 21st century, Larry Page and Sergey Brin, as you can see in your screen, partnered to surface the most renowned search engine on the planet, which is Google, obviously. As expected, this online-based company garnered an impressive number of searches over the course of its ubiquitous virtual operations. An Encyclopedia Britannica article, which is already shown on this slide, reckoned that these requests inflated to more than 70%, up to 100% on an international scale. No, for this one, I am pertaining to to their share, no, to their search request share in the international web market. Okay, therefore, this makes the brand one of the most visited web pages ever. Okay, in the early part of the 2010s, Apple decided to level up the search engine realm by introducing Siri, a virtual assistant phone application. This has expanded the capabilities of phones in providing information to customers. For example, no, Siri is able to provide weather forecasts, right, to its customers upon their request, since it utilizes various search engines to mine relevant details. Okay, the same applies with asking for news articles that tackle domestic and international issues, and this is really applicable for those who are for those who are into local and international issues. Okay, more interestingly, virtual assistants like this employ voice-over technology that offers various accents for different countries, which makes one think or perceive that they are interacting with a true human being. Okay. So due to this technological advancement, interacting with these applications closely resembles performing the same with an actual person. Okay? Siri's prominence paved the path for other rival tech companies to assemble their own counterparts, such as what you see on your screens, Google Assistant and Amazon Alexa. Okay. Right now, let us devote ourselves into talking about plagiarism and essay-based academic dishonesty. As we all know, accomplishing essays and papers has been convenient already. Okay, since search engines, virtual assistants, and chatbots became commonplace for information access. However, it does not necessarily mean that they replace libraries for research works, because there are still individuals, no, students and educators who prefer to research, who prefer to conduct research activities through hard copies. Okay. However, there are dark sides attributed to this advancement. So let's find out in the next slides. Okay, so before discussing Turnitin, no, allow me to trace the roots of this anti-plagiarism software for you to understand how it arrived in our academic realm. So, the 1970s witnessed consumer familiarity towards copying and pasting on electronic devices, specifically on computers. Through a few clicks and certain keyboard commands, the needed or desired blocks of information are placed on a document. Hence, there would be no need for a user to undergo the difficulties of gathering information manually and expressing their findings and insights in their own words. Okay, so which are the keyboard commands I was pertaining to a few minutes ago? I'm referring to Control C and Control V for Windows users. Okay, but for Mac users, Apple designated Command C and Command V as alternatives to the conventional Control C and Control V. Okay, fast forward to the 90s and 2000s, the electronic database became congested with an array of articles that discuss various topics like domestic issues, technologies, history, entertainment, etc. Taking into account copying and pasting's shared prominence in the technological realm, plagiarism becomes more susceptible to commit by learners and even professional writers, okay? Because of online information's prevalence until today, certain brain children or inventors or founders considered Turnitin to ignite its presence in the writing industry. Okay, so established in the first year of the 21st century, Turnitin has been partnering with universities or accepting university applications in pursuit of mitigating academic dishonesty in composing essays and research papers. And of course, the LSU and other major universities in the world subscribe to Turnitin, and they pay reasonable amounts for them to maintain their memberships. Okay. So prior to checking or marking writing outputs, professors devote fractions of their time in submitting the papers they receive from their learners or students doing the same. This is to provide assurance to either parties that the concerned papers are deemed original and of course unplagiarized. Okay, so years later, search engine technology has further extended its ability to retrieve and disseminate information to users instantly, just in a snap of a finger. So this is to give courtesy to a new software, okay, named ChatGPT. As novel as it sounds, ChatGPT functions similarly as an encyclopedia that dishes out a myriad of information from various genres. But before doing so, one should type his or her question or request. Okay? Once a user submits his or her question or request, the system would generate an answer or a desired action. Okay? The interesting part here is that, unlike Google and other search engines, ChatGPT really studies the submitted questions and responses in order to supply customized answers. Okay? This makes one wonder how its developers made this application so capable of responding like the way geniuses and even average humans do. One should be grateful to the secret ingredient called the reinforcement learning with human feedback technology. Okay? Based on a question and answer page with OpenAI, the software's developer, as you can view the link on your screen, RLHF is being employed, to ensure that it is capable of performing preference comparisons and human-oriented activities. Okay, so due to this latest tech innovation, academicians across the planet raised their eyebrows and enlarged their eyes in anxiety. Okay, so the underlying reason for such would be for students to circumvent the entire writing process, from outlining to editing or polishing one's paper. So, in a BBC report conducted by Jonathan Holmes, as you can view the link right there on your screens, he discovered that an ex-student from the University of Bristol, as the one you see, the one at the below photo, garnered an impressive yet shocking 65% mark on an essay prompt he created several years ago. This makes me raise this question. How can learners be true, How can learners be true learners if they solely lift tons of information directly from a seemingly intimidated software that can replace intellects? It seems very intimidating, right? So, because of this student initiative compromise, the University of the West England administrator identified as Steve West, as you can view it in the above photo, tagged this academic shortcut as an academic breach. Okay? A factor for this would be ChatGPT's questionable ability, of producing highly compelling essays. Unquestionable ability of producing highly compelling essays in just less than an hour, but without proper acknowledgement from authors. So it was appropriate for him to link the program's consumption for all essays as a type of academic dishonesty, because it inflates a sense of laziness on a learner. Okay? So dwindling the essence of learning would occur should educational institutions worldwide condone AI lifted information without due credit.
Hello, I'm Edelbert Escalante II. Well, for today we're talking about the advantage of artificial intelligence. Well, what is an advantage? The advantage is a condition that helps us or give us a greater chance of success. Now, imagine having the advantage of artificial intelligence. Now, let us tackle the first one, reliability. Well, when it comes to reliability, it has three stronghold subtopics that can explain further. The first one is the easy and quick access to information. Now, what comes to your mind when you hear the word easy plus quick access? I think that is a relief to our ears, right? And having easy and quick access to information has the great power to assist adults, the one who is elder and barely move on his own. With this ability, it can provide a service for the special needs of them. It can also be in the obvious, like it can help them to have quick access to the files they need by simply calling the AI without the assistance of people. And lastly, it can be our greatest ally in daily lives. Now, for the second subtopic of reliability, making life easier. As I mentioned earlier, it can help the elderly. It can be the assistant in the office, at home, or simply say all our daily lives. With all of this, your life will be easier than in previous centuries. Like they wrote a letter and put it in the email box and wait for the weeks or days, but right now, just simply click the send button, right? And tada! Already received by the receiver. And this is where the third subtopic goes in, where it proves that It saves time because time is really important and we can take it back. Artificial intelligence has the advantage by saving time for the humankind. Not just by email or messenger, but also when it comes to reporting to an office or school, because with the help of AI, we can easily present our needs. And just imagine a world without technology, a world without artificial intelligence, and imagine how time falls out. Now, entering the second topic, revolution. Well, revolution is a word that having something new, something that we've never felt before or we've seen. The first subtopic is generating ideas and inventions. With this power of artificial intelligence, it can build something powerful or a system that we can use. It can generate ideas, inventions, like what we've called an autopilot car or the Tesla. It can also be a smart home, where you can just summon a command and everything will be according to your order, and that is what we also specify on the second subtopic, the high technology. And look how powerful and how important it is to the people, specifically on the person with disabilities. But with high technology, this can also lead into third subtopic, which is the advanced weapon. Having an advanced weapon can stand with confidence and have no fear of anything. It can help each country develop a weapon and their system upgrade to more advanced technology weapons so that can also defend their system from hackers. Lastly, the third topic, which is security. Now let us see again, what do we know when we hear the word security? It's like having great confidence in your comfort zone, right? Like, there's nothing to worry about. You're in safe hands. It is the protection from any danger. But most probably, also people like bodyguards or the military. And the military have the best option when it comes to the protection. But why do we think of having security? A security that only takes the command of the commander, like this is a loyal servant, a security that has no emotions or bad desire, that can lead into a traitor scenery or any negative that can act as a mankind. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the artificial intelligence. Now going to the first topic, minimizing human error. Yes, people make mistakes, always, and it is already normal. But imagine minimizing those errors and looking into the result through the years. We can have a big opportunity, advanced developments, or we can have more time, so there will be less delay. When it comes to second subtopic, the maximizing efficiency. We all know that humans is always limited, even when it comes to their work efficiency, knowledge efficiency, or any other, but look at this thing here, this artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence has no emotions. It has no limitation unless you program it. The only thing that makes AI drive in maximizing its efficiency is by commanding. Lastly, the third subtopic is healthcare assistance. Now, as I've said from the previous subtopic, which is artificial intelligence has no emotion. They don't know how to get angry, laugh, or smile, because they don't even have the feeling. So, it is the perfect for the one who has disabilities, or to the elderly ones, because taking care of the elder and the person with disability, sometimes it is boring, right? Just saying the reality. Now, with this artificial intelligence, without emotions or feeling, can have a countless command from the elder and the PWD person, all day, all night, and every day. And that is how artificial intelligence, how powerful.
Good day, everyone. I am Francis De Leon, and now we will be discussing the ethical issues of artificial intelligence, or also known as AI, with a particular focus on ChatGPT and our creation on education. Let us talk about the negative impact of AI on creativity on students. AI can hinder the creativity of students as it is designed to follow a set of patterns and algorithms. Obviously, following a set of patterns means that it has a limit on its creativity. If students were to rely on AI for their creativity, it limits the opportunities for students to explore different ideas and come up with their own creative solutions. Students are spoon-fed with a predetermined set of answers, which can lead to the degradation of their creative thinking abilities. With the use of AI, creativity may become a lost art as students rely on the technology to provide them with answers. This approach can result in students becoming complacent in their learning, leading to a lack of development in their critical thinking skills. Students may also become impatient when they are asked difficult questions. This is because they would become accustomed to getting answers easily from AI, specifically ChatGPT, where they would just type an easy question and a seemingly correct answer pops up. With students getting answers from easy questions, they might think that it would also be easy to get answers to much more complex questions as they heavily rely on AI. With this reliance, they might not be able to develop their research skills needed to tackle complex problems. This lack of patience and reduced research skills can significantly harm their academic performance. Aside from that, AI-generated answers may also lack the necessary context, depth, and right information required for students to fully understand the topic, leading to a surface-level learning. Speaking of information, not all information provided by AI is accurate. It is essential to consider the source of the data used by ChatGPT. AI systems may not take into account several contexts of different information online. It may not be able to distinguish between credible and non-credible sources of information, potentially leading students to accept false or biased information. As a result, the information provided by AI may not be accurate. People are vulnerable to inaccurate information presented in a seemingly confident tones of grammatical structure. ChatGPT always uses confident tones when answering questions. As a result, students may unknowingly accept and incorporate incorrect information into their work. This is particularly dangerous in academic settings where accurate information is of the utmost importance. Moving on, generating essays and AI-generated arts without the consent of authors, artists, and creators is a form of stealing. AIs often have data miners in which they gather all sorts of data on the internet. This practice does not ask for the creator's consent. This practice can have consequences like exploitation, infringing on their intellectual property rights, and them not receiving proper recognition and compensation for their work. The use of AI clashes with several normative ethical theories. Let us discuss some of them. First, virtue ethics. Virtue ethics emphasizes the importance of being an honorable student. Cheating on essays with the help of AI goes against being an honorable student, thus breaking virtue ethics. Second, natural law ethics. Natural law ethics dictates that stealing is intrinsically wrong. AI should not be used to steal from authors, artists, and content creators. Lastly, utilitarianism. Utilitarianism emphasizes the importance of creativity in society. As stated, AI can degrade the creativity among students. This, in turn, will affect the creativity of society as a whole. The artificial creativity provided by AI may limit innovation since its creativity is not authentic. It's artificial, as discussed earlier. Moving on, the ethical implications of AI extend beyond education and can impact society at large. As AI advances in the following years and beyond, society must concern themselves with machine consciousness. The question arises, Will AI entities have the same rights as humans in the future? Or will they be treated just like animals, with respect, but always viewed as inferior beings? The answer to this question is not straightforward and requires extensive consideration and research among people. That is all for my presentation. Thank you for listening.
Through a deontology ethical lens, students are subjected to the responsibility and expectations to uphold academic integrity. Matters such as cheating and hard work are held by many on a high pedestal because of the moral ground it entails. In this ethical framework, it is a student's responsibility to study, and cheating directly contradicts this statement. It also forgoes the essence of goodwill and a huge factor in understanding deontology. This idea of goodwill entails the very essence of a person's good intentions, and thus, cheating can never be justified under deontological ethics. In the rise of artificial intelligence, this has given students several more options to bypass written assessments and other outputs such as art. These outputs are not made by them, but were simply generated from a prompt inputted in an AI. The academic integrity of a student behind work is lost through this method, and the work that they will submit will not be originally theirs. Because of such an easy process, many students have started using this in many of their outputs for faster and easier ways to accomplish several school requirements. Because of this, the use of AI can be considered a type of cheating as 1. It is not made through their original ideas, and 2. It is also considered unfair for other students that put their own time and effort into creating their own original work.
Hello everyone, I am Ira May Galapon, and we're going to talk about the solutions and call to actions on AI, or artificial intelligence. AI has become a buzzword in the world today, and it has been used in different fields, ranging from healthcare to finance, education, and even politics. But as we embrace this technology, we need to be conscious of the implications it has on our society. In this part, we will discuss some of the solutions to mitigate the negative impacts of AI and also give some call to action to encourage the responsible development and deployment of AI. Let's start with the solutions. One of the primary concerns with AI is bias. Bias in AI can occur due to the training data used to develop AI models, which can reflect the biases and prejudices of its creators. To address this, one solution is to ensure that diverse datasets are used to train AI models. By incorporating data from diverse sources and communities, we can reduce the likelihood of biased outcomes. Another solution is transparency. AI systems should be transparent and explainable, meaning that users should be able to understand how decisions are made by the system. This can be achieved by building AI models that can provide clear explanations for their outputs, or by implementing guidelines and standards for transparency in AI development. Additionally, we need to consider the ethical implications of AI. As AI becomes more integrated into our daily lives, it is essential to ensure that it is developed and deployed ethically. This involves developing clear ethical standards and guidelines for AI, as well as establishing oversight bodies to ensure that these standards are being met. Now, let's move on to some call to actions. As individuals, we can take responsibility for our own use of AI by being aware of the potential biases and limitations of AI and questioning the decisions made by AI systems. We can also educate ourselves on AI, its capabilities, and its limitations to better understand the technology. We can work to establish ethical standards and guidelines for the development and deployment of AI. This includes advocating for transparency and diversity in datasets, as well as promoting ethical and responsible AI development practices. We can also encourage policymakers to support AI development in a way that promotes transparency, fairness, and accountability. This involves working with policymakers to ensure that AI is developed in a way that benefits society as a whole, rather than just a select few. To summarize, AI has the potential to revolutionize the world, but we need to be mindful of the implications it has on society. We can address the negative impacts of AI by using diverse data sets, ensuring transparency, and considering the ethical implications of AI. As individuals, members of the AI community, and policymakers, we can all take action to ensure that AI is developed and deployed ethically, transparently, and in a way that benefits society as a whole. So that is all. Thank you for listening, and we hope you found this discussion informative. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast for more discussions on AI and other technology topics. Until next time, stay safe and keep learning.
At the end of the day, AI will inevitably be part of our daily lives whether it is desirable or not. Businesses and other institutions will insist on its usage for the efficiency it offers. It cannot be denied that many people will outweigh its ethical use over improvement in productivity. Because of this, such a tool that is impactful as artificial intelligence needs to be heavily regulated. There are several worrying factors, but if it is handled properly with careful consideration, its use and implementation does not have to instill as many problems as it currently does. The implementation of solutions and regulations fall heavily into the hands of policy and lawmakers. They have the responsibility to protect the people who will be greatly disadvantaged with the rise of AI, but still uphold the advantages of its usefulness in several fields. Because of the several ethical issues its use also imposes, careful analysis and extensive testing is also necessary for its full implementation. Aside from that, everyone should have the initiative to learn what AI is and how it could affect them. It is both useful and harmful for everyone, even those who do not use it. It is a huge driving force in today's industries that it is changing how people work. Its presence cannot be overlooked. It is best to be prepared on how the next trends will change and act accordingly to both protect and enhance their lives.